On the 5th of December 2016, I put forward a motion that Council recognise we're in a state of climate emergency. Declaring a climate emergency has allowed us to create a mandate for policy bravery. It has been a really positive thing for our Council and I think for our community, because it's about speaking the truth of what the science says. We are in an emergency situation. We have a limited number of years to mobilise the global response to deal with the enormous amount of emissions in our global system.
The speed of action against climate change has been too slow for too long. We need to create a grassroots movement to say we support strong climate action. The scientists are now telling us we have already locked in 2 degrees, there's no turning back, and even at 1.5 degrees there are severe and catastrophic consequences across the planet.
My name's Dave Wandin. They call me Uncle Dave now. And I am an elder of the Wurundjeri Tribe Land Council. We are not frightened of climate change because we've survived climate change, and we did it because what resources we did take was only just enough that we needed. Now that we're having these mega fires and these mega floods, it's nature telling us that if you don't pull your finger out and start doing something, the first species that nature wants to get rid of is us, the humans. And if we don't listen, it will wipe us out. We can see that happening all around the world.
The reason why it's important to actually have an emergency response is because if you've got the threat of ecological breakdown, social breakdown, civilisational breakdown, if you don't respond to that with an emergency intensity and speed and scale, then those disasters will unfold. If we respond as an emergency response, we can roll back 90% of the threats that we're facing.
In Darebin, we're already seeing the impacts of climate change, more extreme weather events, more heat waves, and that's having really significant impacts, particularly on vulnerable communities such as the elderly in Darebin.
We thought that the council could be a good opportunity to impact and get a climate emergency response there. And so we had a team of people work on the detailed plan about how that might occur and how we might mobilise. We ran on a climate emergency platform, and myself and Bryony went and talked to and lobbied a whole range of candidates in the lead up to the election.
Adrian Whitehead suggested to Trent, for the very first motion, declare a climate emergency. And that's what happened.
One of the biggest challenges for Darebin Council is that no one had ever done this. So we were really paving the way to explore what climate emergency action looks like at a local government level. We really need every single person within Darebin Council to own climate emergency and to think about how they can change what they do every day at work.
I think local government has a key role in addressing the climate emergency, partly because it's a level of government that is closest to the people can trust and people feel like they actually have communication with, but also it's able to act as a voice for those local people, so pushing that message up to state government, up to federal government, and that's where the biggest piece of action has to happen, but we all need to work together.
For us, it's the role of governments to say we are going to set the policy at the level that it needs to be, what the science says and what our community has demanded for a long time now. So we're urging other councils, state and federal government to say this is an emergency, it requires an emergency response and it requires rapid action to restore a safe climate.
Local council is a place to lead the national conversation by building pressure on higher levels of government.
But advocacy in the climate emergency plan must be backed up by action. Darebin is taking action. To reach our core goals from our Darebin Climate Emergency Plan, our 9 key directions are climate emergency mobilisation and leadership, energy efficiency, renewable energy and fuel switching, zero emissions transport, consumption and waste minimisation, fossil fuel divestment, adaptation and resilience, community engagement and education, climate emergency Darebin.
One of the ways that we're acting on the climate emergency is that we're doubling solar in Darebin. Through the Solar Saver program, we address the 3 main barriers for households to install solar. We pay the upfront cost and they can pay us back over 10 years through their rates. We select the solar provider so that they know that it's the company they can trust. And we facilitate the whole process to make it easy for them. We've already helped nearly 1,000 households to install solar, just like this one, and we'll continue to install throughout 2019.
Global food systems will be impacted by climate change, and Council's committed to supporting local urban food production. Initiatives like community gardens help build strong local food systems. In October 2019, we introduced a food waste recycling service. This is processed and can be used as compost by farmers. If every green bin in Darebin uses this service, we'll save 7,000 tonnes of carbon emissions each year.
What is it that we need to say? How do we talk to our community about the climate emergency in a way that's different to anything that we've said before? The Climate Emergency Dinner is an opportunity for some of our community leaders to come together to talk about what the climate emergency is, the impact on us and our community, what it means for our future, and what we can all do to mobilise at the scale and speed required to deal with the issue. If we mobilise 1,000 people, then they go on to mobilise the people that they have in their families, friends and neighbourhoods as well, that our climate emergency reach will extend into the thousands of people across the municipality.
It's putting people out on country, not machinery out on country, it's putting people on country, teaching them the right way. I can apply the right medicine for that right type of country. I've still got more learning to do, and that's fine. 58, I'm still learning. What's wrong with that?
We have created resources for an effective response to the climate emergency. We want to share them with you. There are many ways the community, businesses and organisations can get involved. Visit our website darebin.vic.gov.au/climate emergency or search for Darebin Climate Emergency.